Welcome back, whiskey noobs, with another blind tasting episode. These are awesome. I am enjoying this quite a bit. I hope you guys are as well. It doesn't get more honest than this in terms of reviews. I mean, come on. So, if you don't know, if you're new here, if you haven't seen one of these episodes before, my wife is picking any bottle off of my main shelf, which has well over 200 bottles on it, probably over 250. I don't recommend you do that, by the way. That's just because people send me them for reviews. I give them away. I might start up a series where I decide if I'm going to keep it or not, and then give away the ones that I don't want. We'll see. So anyhow, all that being said, I don't know what it is that I'm drinking, and I'm going to go through. I'm going to do a tasting. I'm going to do my best to guess what it is, but probably embarrass myself at the end of the day, and then give it a full rating. Talk about embarrassing myself, but I think that is like the best, most honest way to do these, and it's so much fun. So I've developed the rating scale that I use. It's out of 5 different categories. You've got nose, you've got complexity, body, harshness, and finish, and those are each 10 points. That gives you a score out of 50. I double it to get a score out of 100, and then that is the score that the bottle gets. So there was something else that I wanted to say at the beginning of this episode. Oh, I wanted to say, hey, go check out the Whiskey Noobs crew, please, if you are interested in supporting this show. I put it down in the description of every episode, and you're going to get some really cool stuff for joining. You're also going to get priority access to barrel picks, which we are really starting to get rolling on, so that is a pretty big benefit in my opinion. Please consider going and checking that out, and I would greatly appreciate it. It's the best way to support this show. But if you don't, I totally understand. Please at least subscribe wherever you're listening to this. Ring the notification bell if you're on YouTube. Leave a rating, a review, comment. You get the idea. Okay. I think that's most of it. All those things, by the way, really help me because they help the algorithm to know that this is good, relevant content to keep pushing to more people. So it is very helpful for me if you do that. I think that's it. I'm probably stalling because I don't want to make a fool out of myself. Hopefully no other announcements right now. I don't think there are. I'm going to get my handy-dandy notepad out. So I'm going to start with just a gut reaction, which is what I normally do. I'm going to walk through the nose, walk through the palate, and just, here's what it's tasting like to me. Here's the notes that I'm getting. And then we'll do the more official review. So starting with the nose. Okay, I think we've got a bourbon or maybe even a wheat whiskey, which is weird. I didn't expect myself to say wheat whiskey, but it's very white, sugary, sweet barrel type flavor is what I'm smelling. I'm thinking it's probably a bourbon, but just in case, I'm going to cover my butt and say wheat whiskey because I haven't tasted anything yet. But yeah, there's alcohol. There's a little bit of like an acetone, something undesirable there. And then there's like white sugar. Like that's the strongest thing that I would say I'm getting, maybe a little bit of a vanilla. Very basic nose. It's probably not going to score the greatest on the nose, if I'm being honest. At least so far. I'm going to let it breathe a little bit more. We'll see. Gut reaction tasting. I have no idea what I just tasted. That was wild. I know it's certainly not an American single malt. Maybe it's just a really strong bourbon. It's high proof. I can tell you that much. Oh my goodness. I knew I was forgetting something. By the way, if you want to know what it is that I'm drinking, I will move this audio installation here in a second, and then you'll know. So if you're not watching the video version on YouTube, go do that just to see what it is. Then you can come back to wherever it is that you're listening. But I am going to remove this audio installation. If you're watching on YouTube and you don't want to know what it is, you want to go on this journey with me, then look away starting in 3, 2, 1. We're moving the audio installation. So now you guys know what it is that I'm drinking. Almost forgot. That was a crucial thing, but yeah, I'm stumped right now. It's very... I said this on the last one, so maybe it's my palate lately, but it tastes salty to me again. Tastes briny, tastes black peppery. I'm definitely getting some oak, maybe a little bit of cinnamon. I'm going to go in for another sip real quick. Wow, very high proof. Very high proof. Maybe even a little bit of leather. Yeah, I would say a little bit of leather. Interesting. That is an interesting one. It's seemingly basic on the first sip. Like, I don't think it's the best for complexity. We'll see. I'm going to take a few more sips and do a real rating. I feel like it's not the best for complexity, but it's very unique. It's very different. I'm confused about what it is. I think it's probably a bourbon. I guess it could technically be a wheat whiskey. I haven't had a wheat whiskey in a super long time, so it could be. I had a little tiny sip of a wheat whiskey the other day when I was making a YouTube video. But by the way, I've been doing home blends on my YouTube videos. Go check those out. It's the @whiskey_noobs YouTube channel, not the @whiskey_noobs podcast, because I separated the podcasts to make them two separate things. But I've been doing home blending, and I tasted a wheat whiskey when I was doing that, and I don't think it's fitting that bill. It could. Now, I got too much stuff on my shelf because it could technically also be the rice whiskey from JT Mellick, which has a kind of unique flavor and it's high proof. It could potentially be that. All right, I'm going to dive in, do a real rating, write down some notes that I'm getting, and we'll see on the other side. Ooh, I just want to take a moment to say the nose has started to open up a little bit. Now I am getting more oak, a little bit of caramel, that sort of a thing. So as it sat in the glass, the nose definitely opened up. Okay, this has been a weird one. This one has changed for me a few times, which like I'm attributing to complexity. So I bumped up the complexity a little bit, but like it's weird because on any one sip, it's not super complex. You don't watch it go from pepper to caramel to oak to, you don't watch that all happen, which is weird. But on every sip, I'm like, oh no, this is kind of harsh. And then the next sip, I'm like, no, it's not. I'm getting more caramel, more cinnamon. So it's really weird in that regard. Here's what I've got in terms of notes. On the nose, I put caramel, cinnamon, and then more so than the caramel and cinnamon, alcohol and sugar. I noticed the alcohol and I know sugar doesn't really have a smell, but you know, like candles that are scented, like white sugar, pink sugar, whatever, it's like that. And then caramel and cinnamon. And then on the palate, definitely a little bit of that cinnamon. I added leather, tobacco, and black pepper. Very kind of dark, gritty type palate, not super up in the air, light and sweet, if that makes sense. So that's kind of what I'm getting. And then on the nose, I put a 6. I had it at a 5.5, and I raised it to a 6 because it was like, well, no, there is some nice stuff going on. There really is, especially the more it sits, the more it opens up and the better it gets. Body, I put it at 6. Now, I have to recap. When I talk about body, I talk about something very specific. It's a little different than what some people mean when they say body. A lot of people are just talking about mouthfeel. For me, I'm actually talking about the amount, the volume of flavor you're getting for the volume of alcohol that you're getting. And I think that kind of amounts to mouthfeel, in all honesty, because the thinner mouthfeel, you're going to be getting way more alcohol with way less flavor. The thicker mouthfeel, you're going to be getting more flavor, more richness with less alcohol. So I think it very much relates to what some people are talking about with body, which is mouthfeel. But I do it a little bit more specifically. And the reason I bring that up is this one has a ton of flavor. It coats my whole palate, but it has a ton of alcohol as well. Very noticeable alcohol flavor. It leaves that alcohol on your palate. You feel it on your tongue. I think it's really high proof, but even for being high proof, I'm getting a lot of alcohol for not as much flavor. That's kind of a balance that you have to do. So I put it at a 6. I put complexity at a 7. It's definitely, like I said, I'm like, it's not the type of complexity that I would normally talk about, which is like, as it sits on your tongue, you notice different things happening. It's more so as it's sitting here and it's opening up. Every sip, I'm getting something different. So I put it as 7 for complexity, which is a pretty high score. Harshness, I put it as 6.5. It's kind of like right in the middle. It's like, yeah, this isn't lower shelf harshness. It's middle shelf, a little bit higher than middle shelf because I'm not getting too much. I am getting some salt and I'm getting a touch of that filminess on my tongue, but not very much. Finish, I put it at a 6 because it's a little bit short, but it's nice. It's pleasant. There's nothing about it that I'm not a fan of. And I didn't do the math. I should have. So that's 3 6s. So 18, 25, 31.5. So that gives me a score of a 63, which I think I'm worried is going to be a little bit low because this is definitely higher proof. I think it's a bourbon. It could be something else that tastes bourbony, but I think it's a bourbon. There's too many different things on my shelf for me to know for sure, but I think it's probably a bourbon. And caramel, cinnamon, leather, tobacco, black pepper, lots of black pepper, and strong alcohol notes. Enough stalling. Let's reveal it. I almost Man, this is why I should just say things that are on my mind. I almost guessed the cask strength wheat whiskey. I almost guessed that. And I did say wheat whiskey in the beginning. I should have just guessed it. I should have just went for it because that would have been so incredibly impressive. And now nobody's going to believe me. I promise I did think that right in the beginning. That makes sense to me. I like their wheat whiskey. Their cask strength wheat whiskey for me is just all right. I think their cask strength bourbon is phenomenal. Their cask strength rye, I haven't had in a long time. I need to retry it because I know people tend to love it. So I don't know if I even said the whole label out loud. So sorry if you're on the audio version. This is Middle West Spirits straight wheat whiskey. It is the cask strength. It is 125.1 proof. And a lot of times with wheat whiskeys, I get that sugar and alcohol. Like I get that a lot with a wheat whiskey. And that's what made me think I was leaning towards a wheat whiskey. And that definitely explains why I'm getting the flavors that I'm getting. Let me give it one more taste now that I know what it is. Oh, yeah. Sugar, alcohol, a little bit of leather, a little bit of oak. That all makes absolute sense to me. Totally understand why it got that rating. I wish it was a little bit higher of a rating because I love Middle West stuff. It's just specifically their wheat whiskey that's just not a hitter for me. And that's why I love these blind tastings so much, because it would be hard for me to know if I'm actually giving it the score that I'm giving it because I think it's worth it, or if I'm like, oh, but it's Middle West and I love their stuff, so yeah, it is good. It's hard to know. That's why I love these blind tastings. It's scored at a 63, which is a good score. That is pretty close to the middle shelf. It might be a tick above middle shelf, but it's definitely not top shelf for me. I've scored some low shelf things that high, so maybe I need to be a little bit harsher. But I think they're, I think it makes sense for where it's at. I've scored some low shelf things that are really good for being low shelf. I've scored at that price range, so I think that's a pretty fair score. I'm not upset with that at all. I think if this was their cask strength bourbon, it would have scored significantly higher for me. It has more body, more flavor for the amount of alcohol burn, so it is what it is. I'm not upset with that at all. I think that's all that I've got for this episode. So once again, please go check out the Noobs Crew, the Whiskey Noobs Crew, down in the description below. Hosted on Patreon. It's the best way to support this show, and we have some tiers that are only $3 a month, some that are $5 a month. It makes a huge difference. And you can also vote on what barrel picks we're going to do. You get priority access to the barrel picks, all that good stuff. If not, I totally understand all the normal forms of support with subscribing and liking and reviewing and all that. I appreciate all of that. And I really appreciate you guys for enjoying this show, for watching this show. Hopefully you like these reviews as much as I do. I think they're so much fun. I'm going to leave you guys with learn to drink, drink to learn.